Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. I don't know about you, but we had some crazy storms come through this morning. They weren't nearly as fun as what they said they were going to be, though. But I was up watching it just in case I needed to get Chris up. Thankfully, he's sound asleep. I'm awake, and all is well, right? I hope you had a great weekend. I want to start out with an announcement this morning. I've got my Pakistani publishing is still going strong, although it's going slow. And this week I'm going to do a book of the week on a study guide on James, and it's available on Amazon in print, as you can see, and Kindle, or it's available on buymeacoffee.com/Jeannie Olinger. You can get the ebook there if you want to just download it, print it out, write all over it, and do another one later if you want, right? Unlimited supply. Anyway, and the cool thing about this book is another ministry, a pastor has committed to just keeping this one in print across Pakistan. Man, that takes a burden off me, y'all. It just takes that pressure off. I'm not really burdened. I shouldn't use the word burden because I'm just going as God provides, right? And if he provides slowly, we go slowly. If he provides fastly, is that the right word? We move faster, right? So I'm just excited to say that this one will be in print going across Pakistan at a regular pace, because right now our on-hand supply is really low and we need to start reprinting. We've got 7, I think, printed so far. We're on the 7th one right now, 31 days in Psalm 31. Peace Out is still in the queue for being printed, but it's not. We're just waiting on the money for Peace Out to print it. But this one has been covered by another ministry is committed to covering the book of James, keeping it in print across Pakistan and Urdu. So that's so exciting. So this is the book of the week this week, the book of James study guide. So this week, it was yesterday morning, I was reading and I thought, where do I want to read this morning? And sometimes I have a direction I want to go. Sometimes I have, something on my mind. Sometimes I'm studying for one of my books or something, it's a topic that hit me. And I'm like, I got to look at this character a little more deeply, or I want to look at this, or I want to look at that. So yesterday I was like, what would I want to read? And I thought, what if I had this thought? I didn't say it was a smart one, but I had this thought. And I thought, what if I could only have one book of the Bible at my disposal for the rest of my life? Which one would I choose? I was like, man, that's a cool question. I should ask that to everybody else. So which book, if you could just have one, which one would you choose? Choose John, the Gospel of John. That's been a super popular one, right? Thanks to Billy Graham, made that one. Read that one first, he'd say, right? And so I thought about John, just all the stories of Jesus walking here on earth. Romans has so much for our daily walk. I thought of all these different ones. And then I thought, I think I would probably choose Psalms. If I could only have one book to read, or if I was only allowed to read one book of the Bible, or I could write one down and have it forever, I think I might choose Psalms. Psalms was written by more than one author. All the other books just have a single author, right? But in Psalms, we find it's written by David, by Moses, by Asaph, by the sons of Korah. It was a compilation of writings from all these different people who trusted God over time. It was written by Moses as they were going, and the sons of Korah too, for that matter, as they were traveling through the wilderness. They saw the demonstration of God's power. They saw the demonstration of God's provision. And so there's some really powerful Psalms that Moses wrote and that the sons of Korah wrote. I thought, well, then Asaph was a key Levite worship leader. That's amazing, right? And then I thought about just David and the Psalms he wrote. David wrote Psalm 23, we assume, in the back of the field, away from everyone. He was the youngest, out taking care of the sheep, right? And we have Psalm 23 that just came from his heart as he was performing his day-to-day duties. Then I thought about how he wrote, from the pasture to the palace, because then he wrote some in the cave, he wrote some in the pasture, in the back fields, and then he wrote some in when he was running from Saul. Psalm 31, my favorite one of my other devotionals, right? Psalm 31, he wrote from the back of the cave when he was hiding from Saul. And then he has some that he wrote while he was in the palace. He even has one he wrote, at least one, after he sinned with Bathsheba. I believe it's 51 or 52. And he says, cleanse my heart. Forgive me. I've been wrong. Cleanse me, God. Right? He cried out to God for forgiveness and for a restart. And God gave him that. So I was thinking, man, and besides that, it gives us such a broad picture of God. Not that the other books don't, right? But it talks about, some of the scripture verses in Psalm talk about creation. Some of them talk about being in the wilderness. Some talk about being in the caves. Some talk about being in the palace. Some talk about how God is majestic and the heavens are speaking and creation is singing his song all the time. And I mean, there's just so much in Psalms. I think if I could only read one book, I'd probably read this book of the Bible more than others, is Psalms, because it just gives us a picture of no matter where we are on our journey in life, no matter what's going on around us, no matter what's going on in the world, whether the wicked rule or the just rule, no matter who's in the president's office, who's in the kingdoms around the world, no matter what is going on, God is still all powerful, all majestic. He's still our rock. He's our rock when we're in the middle of the wilderness. And he's our rock when we're running from something in life, like Saul is pursuing us and trying to take our faith down and try to get us to doubt, try to take us out of the fight. Or he's with us when we're facing a giant. He's with us when it's all calm and we're sitting on the back of the field there with watching the sheep, playing a harp, worshiping God with all of our heart, right? And so it gives us just this broad picture, and that brings me right back to, I was asked my favorite scripture early this morning actually, back to Psalm 46:1. God is a present help, no matter what our now looks like. He is a present help in the time of our need. And I think we see that throughout the Psalms. And that encourages me today, because I know nothing's going to come at me today that God can't handle. Nothing's going to come at me today. Nothing has come at me in the last week, in the last 16 years, in the last 64 plus years. Nothing has come at me that made God go, oh my, I got, what? What is that? I've never seen that before. Nothing is going to throw God off today. Nothing is going to stop that flow of his peace, that flow of his wisdom, that flow of his protection, that flow of his provision. Whether I see it or not, it's there. Whether I experience it or not, it's there. And we see that through the Psalms. We see it through the scriptures, that God remains. And that's going to be my reminder to myself all day. God remains. God remains faithful. God remains steadfast. God remains on the throne. God remains full of love and tender mercies. His mercies are new for us this morning. You can say that to yourself. Don't say it out loud if somebody's sitting there, right? Especially if they don't know you. But just say, God's mercies are new for me this morning. This morning, God's mercies are brand new for me for this day. Nothing is going to come at me today that God can't handle. Nothing is going to come at me today that's going to make God be surprised or get off the throne or say he doesn't know what to do with this, whatever our this is. God's still got me. And that's what I think I love about the Psalms. And I know I didn't give one particular scripture. Grab 46:1 if you want. But I love that David and Moses and Asaph and the sons of Korah, no matter what situation they were in, they were singing God's praise. Maybe they were acknowledging their situations. Maybe they were saying, this is really difficult, but I'm going to trust God. There's all these declarations through the Psalms too. This is really bad. This really hurts. My soul is in distress. My mind is running all over the place. He knows me in my anxious thoughts. He knows me in my peaceful thoughts. I will trust God. Can we say that today? I'm going to trust God no matter what this day puts on my plate or takes off my plate. It comes down to that declaration and just being committed to God's committed to us. He didn't say, okay, November, what is this today? 18th, 2024, you're on your own. Go get them. I don't know. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you're made of. No, his mercies are going, won't you see what I'm made of? Won't you see what I got? He doesn't, all we have to got is trust. We're just going to trust God for today. We're just going to peace out. No matter what happens today, we can rest in his peace, knowing that he's still got us, right? He's still got us, and everything he says in this Bible, and thank God we don't just have one word, one. So glad we don't have just one book, right? It's a whole book, 66 books that make up this one book. So glad that we've got this in our lives. So glad that we have God in our lives, and we don't have to worry about if he's quit today, because he didn't. He's never going to quit. Our job is to never quit trusting him because he's got us no matter what life throws at us. That's why we can peace out. Peace out, you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.